Hello everyone and welcome to this video. We've seen a massive drop on Bitcoin and Ethereum. Do we finally have a top on crypto, or can we wait for another rise to the upside? And is it actually a good place to take a long trade where we are now? I'm going to give you my perspective on Bitcoin and Ethereum, trying to stay calm and collected during these times of massive volatility. So let's have a look at Bitcoin and start exactly where I left off my last YouTube video. And that is that I was looking at the CC resistance here, and I even said that I'm interested in taking a short trade at this area, and I wanted to compound this short trade if we get acceptance into the value area high. My idea of this short trade was to at least be hedged if this was the top, because we have actually seen a nice SFP of that previous all-time high. This is always when I'm getting a little bit more careful and at least want to be exposed to a short trade if we get a nice retest. And the interest of compounding that trade here, if we get acceptance into the value area high, was simply based off a range theory that the moment we get acceptance into the value area high, we can look for the point of control next. And if we lose the point of control, we can look for a full value rotation into the value area low. And this is exactly what we've done here on BTC. So let's have a quick look at what I was looking on that YouTube video. It was here where I was covering Trump, Solana, Ethereum, and BTC. I was looking for exactly this, the rejection at the CC right here, and then the acceptance into the value area high to target at least the point of control. And fast forward a couple of days later, we got exactly that. So this video is now 2 weeks ago. And to be honest, that was the only video that was needed. I was looking for the long trade here on the first POC retest. We got a perfect bounce just to test the CC once again to do the full value rotation. But now let's have a look at what we are working with in this range here. I want to hide a couple of levels. I want to hide this fixed range and look at one thing that I also brought to your attention quite a few times already. So what are we doing currently? We are once again testing the top of the channel on BTC. So that is once again connecting these highs here, the 69,000 high and that previous high, and the low at around $15,000. And we can see we had this clean breakout, and we are testing this for quite a few times now. So this is now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, the 7th test of this level. It's not amazing. It's still trying to hold here. But what we have to really keep in mind, and this is something you want to note down, and that is the moment we lose this demand zone on BTC, things are starting to become very bearish, and I would not be surprised to see a rotation into $72,000 next. I'm not saying this is definitely going to happen. I'm just saying the moment we lose this zone here at around 90,000, this becomes way more probable. Then we would look for something along that lines where we see the retest acceptance into this high time frame channel. And my first target would definitely be the $72,000 zone. Now, how can we as traders identify if we get acceptance in this range, or if it's simply another liquidity grab? And this is where we have to focus on candle closes. So here, for example, if we focus on that candle real quick, it was on the 13th of January. We had a liquidity grab, we moved into this zone, but the fact that we closed above is indicating that we are not getting accepted below, and we don't have to look at the scenario of 72,000 yet. So something to remember is look at the $90,000 demand zone, wait for candle closes inside to decide of whether we actually lose that zone or not. So this is extremely important. But now I want to have a look at the more local time frame here as well. In my opinion, and this is also something that I will always say, is without taking significant liquidity here, I am not just blindly longing because we had a retracement on BTC. I want to see good levels of confluence being hit, then I want to wait for confirmation, and then I can look for a long trade because we have actually seen a very well-defined low time frame downtrend on BTC. But let's have a look at where we moved into, and we did have a nice weekly and monthly level of support right below price. So we can now update this fixed range as well, include this entire volume, and we can see we also bounce off the value area low. So technically speaking, this is definitely a good area of confluence to look for a long trade, but especially after seeing a large drop like we have seen yesterday, or let's just say over the weekend, I'm not too aggressively taking that trade. So what am I now looking at? Because if I was just too long here, this would give me a stop loss of about 5%. I'm not too interested in that, especially because I'm still in that long trade here, which has not been stopped out. But there is something on the lower time frames that I am checking here. For this, I just want to go down to the 30-minute time frame. And what we are seeing here is that on this drop, we have attempted to change market structure. So that does look interesting. It is still considered to be an aggressive trade because on the bigger picture, we are still in a downtrend, but I'm thinking to myself that if I get a better retracement here, there might be a long trade presenting itself. And that is based off the fact that we've taken these highs. So we can look at this as our low. That is our high. Higher low, higher high. So we are attempting a 30-minute market structure change. So what I am looking at for the day is to get a retest of around that weekly, the VWAP, and the monthly level. I would be interested in laddering into a trade here and then look for higher prices. Now, once again, this is a little bit of an aggressive trade because we have seen this massive drop to the downside, and I am technically fading this move. I've only seen a sign of strength on the lower time frame. But with me being in a short trade that I presented to you from the CC, I can allow myself to be a little bit more aggressive on that long trade here, because even if that trade gets stopped out, I would still be in the short trade, just gonna keep the short trade running, and I am not exposed to too much of a risk here. So all I'm saying is I am trading this sensibly. Everything I do here is based off a good risk management and a good context that I am being presented. So for me, the target for this trade is not necessarily a new all-time high. I would target the weekly at around 102,443. I'm not saying we definitely have to move into this zone. I'm definitely taking profits along the way, but this could be a nice medium-term time frame target. So for this, I need to check the 4-hour time frame again and explain to you why that is a good target. And that is, obviously, we have the weekly level. This is a nice level of resistance, but we also have a naked weekly point of control lining up with that level perfectly. So there's already 2 layers of confluence, and if I pop in the range, the fixed range tool once again, we can see this is also lining up with the value area highs. So this is definitely a very sensible take profit for that trade. And if I was to look at the CC, this is also going to be around, or at the FIB tool here, we can see it's also lining up with the 7.5. So that has to be a take profit, even going to be an area of interest for a short trade if I see a nice sign of weakness, being a 30-minute time frame market structure change here. I would even try to short this level. So that is what I'm looking at on BTC. I do foresee some nice opportunities ahead of us because I do know that people always get scared when we have these large drops. But all I am thinking about as a trader is that these drops offer great opportunities. Sometimes we are stuck in a range for a very extended time. But whenever we have these drops, we are trading based off new levels. We can look to capitalize on these drops or even on the reversals. And that is exactly what I'm looking at here. So we shouldn't be fearful about that and rather be excited that we can look for some new and interesting trades. But now let's go back to the charts and also look at Ethereum. On Ethereum, we have also had some very interesting price action, and I would almost say, or it is the fact that Ethereum reacted much, much more drastically than BTC. So over the weekend on Ethereum, we have actually seen a 37% drop to the downside. That is quite a large drop. Many people are very scared about that. Again, many people lost some good money on their Ethereum bags or maybe even their long trades. But the good thing is we at Chart Champions obviously have been more than prepared for this drop. So let me just show you all the short trades that I am currently in, giving every single pivot on Ethereum. That is obviously what I do on the website over at chartchampions.com in my altcoin weekly streams. But this was the short trade. I was my first short trade based off a simple SFP. Then I wanted to compound this short trade right here. We can see perfect top, perfect lower high. And of course, I had to give another short trade, and that was right here. So what I was looking at a little bit more locally here on Ethereum was that we have formed this nice triangle. I normally don't like to trade triangles. We did have some nice resistance here, being a daily naked point of control, and my favorite tool on altcoins, which is this anchored VWAP. We moved right into it. But at the time, if we look at the 4-hour time frame, it actually looked like price was trying to break out of this. So what I always do is update the members and tell exactly how I would trade this. So let's have a look at the Discord real quick, because I posted that over here. And I said on Ethereum, this is this post right here, I am only taking the short trade if we get re-accepted inside the triangle. This is a nice reference point for the short trade. So what have we done here? It looked like a nice breakout. It ended in a fake out. We got acceptance back into the triangle on the daily time frame. That is even more beautiful with this close inside, then the retest, and then we got the large drop. So I would say we can definitely say on these altcoin weekly streams, I did call every single important pivot on Ethereum, not missing a single lower high. So I would say if you don't want to miss that, you know where to find it. But now let's have a look at what I am looking at next on Ethereum. So on Ethereum, there's something that I find quite interesting. And that is, we can also look at this massive range here as one range. So actually, I have splitted this range into its own ranges. This was the first range, then we had this lower range here, broke out of this, got re-accepted into the previous one, and then I was simply trading this range. But now that we have more data, it almost looks like we are trading in this bigger range. So let me draw a channel for this. That is our well-defined high. We got the SFP up here, and this is our well-defined low. We can also see the middle of the channel, pretty well respected. We can see that right here as well. And one thing that is a little bit suspicious to me is that we did not quite reach the liquidity here. So now we have a very similar scenario to what was happening at around $3,000 on Ethereum. So I just want to have a look at this once more. Here we did form all these higher lows, but I was always saying I want to see $3,000 being taken on Ethereum. What have we done eventually? We moved into $3,000 on Ethereum. This is where we have seen the nice SFP for a long trade. And now this down here at around $2,000 really reminds me of that price action. We came ever so close to the $2,000, but we have not taken that on the first attempt. So to me, this is something that is in play. I am looking at a move below $2,000, trading this as a little bit of a bigger range. And if we get the drop, this is where I'm definitely interested in a long trade. Let me explain to you why. This is not just taking out $2,000. This is also moving into the previous range value area high. And this is always something that is just an A plus trade from my statistics. So a previous range value area high lining up with liquidity is just something I don't want to miss. So I'm going to mark it out as a value area high. Then we have a nice reference point. Is it going to end in an SFP? If so, 100% I am interested in this long trade. No financial advice, obviously. This is just an idea. But yeah, I am going to place an alert here to see if I manage to get into that long trade. As always, I would want to see low time frame strength. And then I do think this can be a nice trade. I'm going to take profits along the way. It's not that I would just target a new high, but that is the next best trade on Ethereum in my opinion. But I'm going to put that into a folder here. No, this is a long swing. This is going to be a swing trade. But now let's also have a look at what is happening down here, because we obviously formed that nice bounce here. And what I found was that we are bouncing off an anchored VWAP, anchored from June 2022. So this is quite a long time ago. But this move has already happened, as we can see here. I can pop on the high time frame levels, and also down there at around 2000 we do have a nice daily level, but and a weekly NPOC, but there is already enough confluence. So we bounced off of this nice anchored VWAP. This move is already, what is it, 16% away from this anchored VWAP. So for me, it's like if I was to take a long trade here with an invalidation of 20%, that's not what I'm going to do. This is chasing a trade that has already happened. So what I can do in terms of the long trade here is look for something more local. This could be a VWAP retest with a local invalidation. But what I am going to say on Ethereum is that I missed this trade. I don't like to chase a long trade here on Ethereum. The only thing I would do is take a day or scalp trades based off new price action, but with my risk management principles, I can't take a long trade where we are now. And sometimes it is what it is. For the better trade, I need to wait a little longer. I need to wait for another drop to the downside, or simply miss out on this move. Because as a trader, it doesn't happen. It doesn't matter if I miss a trade. The only thing that matters is that I'm patient enough to only look for the best trades, as opposed to chasing anything that has already bounced so massively. But that is the long trade that I'm looking at next. There's also going to be a very well-defined resistance, and that will be at around $3,200. Here we do have a nice weekly, daily NPOC. Above, we have another weekly NPOC. And I think that was tapped, so I can delete that. But we do have a new monthly NPOC above. So that's going to be a zone between 3,200 all the way up to, let's just call it 3,400. So this is more of a high time frame zone. But this is where I am expecting the next resistance. We can also pop in a anchored VWAP and see this will line up with this zone. So I am going to place an alert here. How would I enter a trade like this? As always, I'm not presetting this. I am looking for weakness first. If I see a market structure change, I am taking a short trade here. The overall target would be 2000. As always, as a trader, I'm profiting, or I am taking profits in between. So that is what I am looking at on Ethereum. That's what I'm looking at on BTC. Although we had some nice drops to the downside, we don't have to be fearful. We have great opportunities ahead of us. All I would say is we have to be very patient, wait for the best trades only, and very importantly, not chase trades that already ran as far as Ethereum here. I can still take advantage of the low time frame trades, being day trades or scalp trades, but in terms of the swing trade, the stop loss here is a little bit too far away. And that is very normal. That happens in trading. So that wraps up all I wanted to look at for this week. Let me know in the comments if you want me to cover any specific altcoins, and then I can do that as well. So I hope you all enjoyed, and let's crush the next weeks ahead. See you in the next video, and bye bye.